thank you for watching the podcast again today. My name is Debra Lee Fader. This is Acts of Kindness, Connecting Through Caring. And I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Ruth Ann Lee. She happens to own the Hollywood Theater in Montevideo, Minnesota, where our group performs. And I want to welcome her at this time. So glad to see you, Ruth Ann.
Good to be here at my home spot.
Well, usually we're at my home spot. So this has been a lot of fun, getting everything ready at the Hollywood. Currently, we are in part of the lobby. She has a beautiful 400 plus seat theater. I have called Ruth Ann Lee the Queen of the County for many, many years. She has so much verve and excitement for the cultural happenings here in our area, which is Montevideo, Minnesota. We happen to be in Chippewa County, and all of the performances take in people from all over the state of Minnesota. They come to see our live performances, and we usually put on a Christmas show every year. This year it will be on December 6th, the first Friday of the Christmas season, and we will be calling it Hometown Heroes. And we will be having several awards to give out to people who have been very special to help us through this past year of charitable giving. Our particular Diversity USA is a .org for charity. So it's diversityusa.org. And we have been putting on shows with Ruth Ann Lee since she first bought the theater, which was in
2011.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I hope I'd be right. But Ruth Ann and I had thought we were going to try to own this place together. And we had a little juggernaut at that time. So Ruth Ann said, heck, I'm just going to go ahead and buy this building. Can you tell them a little bit about the changes that have been made in this particular theater?
It underwent a lot of changes from a time when it was closed down and trees were growing within the auditorium and a hole to the basement and all kinds of things that I'm glad I wasn't here to see, like when they brought a bobcat in to shove all the chairs together and mold and mildew and that part was done before I looked at buying the place. And Jerry Ross had purchased it from the other partners that had done the renovating and had saved the Hollywood up and down sign that is such a landmark to the community. Everybody's in a brighter mood when that is lit up.
They actually saved it from the wrecking ball.
Right.
And what they did was just leave the trees in it to begin with until Jerry Ross actually took over. Jerry Ross was one of our favorite entrepreneurs here in Montevideo, Minnesota, and all over the state. People knew him. He was great at auctioning, and tell me all the things he used to do so that you knew him before I did.
He dabbled in so many areas. He salvaged the video building, which is kitty corner across the street from here, and had a eating place upstairs, had a ballroom downstairs, and office space in between. I think I recall taking tap dance lessons in that building. That is just a unique building and is one of those that either something needs to be salvaged again or some utilization being made from it. The theater was one of his projects. He also had an office building where he supplied you with desks and computer tables and whatever your need was. And he had a mutual fund business that he had a Winnebago that he operated the business out of. And he was kind enough to take our wedding party from the little Zion church out in the countryside to Montevideo for our reception, which was at the Hunt Hotel. We had all 3 floors. The Hollywood was not in use then, and if it had been, it would have been a great place for our wedding dance.
Yes, you do so many receptions for
Yes.
brides and grooms, and you do dances for quinceañeras. It's a coming out for like a debutante for 15-year-olds, and they wear these beautiful ball gown dresses, and they're presented to the Hispanic and the Latino society, as well as anybody else that cares to come along to the actual event. But Ruth Ann turns the entire place into a fiesta style ballroom, dance room, and they have a wonderful time. So they do that here. But I wanted to talk about how your first date went here with your husband. Tell that story.
Jerry and I actually came to a movie here, and it was A Man Could Get Killed with Sandra Dee and James Garner. And Jerry wasn't old enough to drive yet, so his cousin dropped us off at the door and picked us up when it was over. And we had a certain spot that we liked to sit at in the theater, and it's just been full of fun memories in the place. There's areas that I have not been willing to paint over that still have people's initials. When they used to work here, they would sign in or initial it or date it or whatever. And people often ask, is my name still there? And you know, we have to go and check it out, because I think there's some areas that did get painted over before I took over. But it's always fun to see those names from early on.
One of the names might have been my late mother-in-law, because she used to work the concessions here and sell tickets.
Okay.
Way back in the day.
There are a number of signatures on the way down to the basement, and back in our light room area, going up to the outside exit off the back. It's just a fun place, and the kids that are currently coming down here for practice for school plays love the history. They just get a kick out of Jerry and I dating here. And, you know, the place is so versatile with a nice large stage, sound and lighting, versatility of having tables up or not, having just only chairs or chairs and tables. The upper area are booths and tables, and in between are 3 tiers that are slightly curved. And Tony Olson put those in, said it was the second largest curve he's done since the Montevideo Hospital.
Wow. Well, that is unusual. I didn't know that. So thank you for telling us about that. She has completely refurbished this entire space and redesigned it. And it is just, it's the crown jewel, I feel, for Montevideo in theater and in events and in the plays for all of the kids, the students at both the middle school and the high school.
Right.
And then you also put on other plays for community ed and for Fire. Is it called Fire? The group that performs?
The children's theater group is no longer active, so it's been taken over by Monty Community Rec to put on those performances, and they're going to do Rapunzel.
They are.
Coming up in August.
Yes, and we have some help with our theatrical technicians that are both here today. They're sitting in the back, but I just want to make a shout out to Wyatt Haugen and also to Adrian Wallstrom, because we couldn't do this without their help and their expertise in keeping this place clean and keeping everything, all of the equipment up to par and going on and running things. And then Adrian is also an actor and a singer, a performer, so he's in plays with us. It's just a really fun thing to be able to do. We're kind of like a little family group, and we've been working on this theater or at the theater since 2011. And what Ruth Ann and I did in 2017, we decided that we would start a nonprofit charity. And so we did, and we originally called it Cultural Diversity Council of the Upper Minnesota River Valley. And it seemed to be kind of a long name, so we would call it CDC. Well, and then we ended up having CDC because of COVID coming in. So we decided, well, let's make some little change in our name. So we changed it to diversityusa.org. And the reason we did that is because we feel that we've set up a rural headquarters for areas that need rural all over the country, that may want to know how they can bring in cultural diversity to their small areas, because it really does. When you have a cultural diversity that is working well together, your economic situation within your city or small town can really blossom. We have several stores right now that are on our main street. And by the way, the theater's on the main street too. But we have different people of different heritages now that have store space, and this Main Street is buzzing again. So it always helps if you can get people to have a clear vision together as one unit and one community, and you are able to bring these people forward and bring their ideas forward, and you will have more by having a diverse group of people involved in your community than without. And economically, you will thrive and survive. That's one thing I wanted to be able to say today. I also wanted to say, who's the person that said I was the queen of kindness?
That'd be me.
I was waiting. That'd be me. Yes. She said, "You're the queen of kindness, Debra Lee." So that's where we came up with the name, the Queen of Kindness, for our second nonprofit charity. And what we're trying to do there is create our Kindness Alliance. And the Kindness Alliance is everyone growing kindness together. So that's part of what our mission is. And not only that, we believe in sharing and promoting our differences through love, hope, and kindness. Way back in 2011, remember when you bought this place and you decided we were going to have a Christmas show? So we put it on. I said, "Oh, I'll direct it. We'll do whatever we can. We'll get as many people as we can." And Ruth Ann is the greatest promoter I have ever met. She gets on the phone and she will get a job done. Amazing work. And she's amazing at fundraising. I've never known anybody to fundraise like she can. If she believes in something, she is going to make a difference, and you always do. One thing, before I get started with this, you are up for, you've been nominated for a McKnight Award. Now, McKnight Foundation is a very big foundation here in the Midwest, and Ruth Ann deserves to have her nomination, and I am praying with all my heart and whatever I can do to help you get that award, because you most certainly deserve it. So,
thank you.
Oh yeah, you deserve it. Going back to what we were talking about with 2011, we started with just one Christmas show, and this was before we were involved with the nonprofit, before we knew what we really wanted to focus on. And we had all these different performers that came in, and most of them were from a different cultural background, and they put on such of a good show and opened up the talking points for people to actually start working on developing communication between people of differences. So it was a really successful pilot, I guess you could say. And then from there, we grew it into the nonprofit. But I want her to talk to you about all of the wonderful performers we've had here at the Hollywood in our shows, and then also tell them about the other ones too.
We've been so blessed that our community is full of talented people. Very fortunate to have bands that have kind of been our backup groups. The ones that are currently known as the Hepcats. It started us out early. Tommy Listel has been a performer. Carmen Haugen did singing, and it was so fun to see her folks in one of the first rows to be so proud of their daughter singing. Sandy Erickson has been helping a lot, and so fun to hear her Norwegian twist on a lot of the songs.
What about sign language? We've had the sign
We've had
language.
sign language. Jerry Blum has done a beautiful job transitioning sign language to the music and the words of.
Oh, I can't even. Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know was the song.
Mary, Did You Know has become one of our favorites. We always close our show with Let There Be Peace on Earth, which has become a favorite.
Yes. We have dance schools that
We've
come.
had the dance students
Yep.
participate. We've had the Taekwondo kids involved.
Leo.
Baker and his children have done the Native American drumming and singing, prayers and that type of thing. The Micronesians from the Milan community, which are almost close to outnumbering the Norwegians up there. Just fun to hear them do music and to see their colorful clothing. And when they have their parade as part of the Norwegian celebration up there, they're marching along in the parade, and then every once in a while they'll stop and say "Oofta."
Yeah, they do. That's right. And that's so
Yes.
funny because they're doing all of their native language, and then all of a sudden you hear "Woofda."
Yeah, fits right in.
Yep, it does. We've had other performers here. We have who I think is the very best Elvis I have ever heard. Tell them about our Elvis.
Anthony Shore is kind enough to grace our stage when he can. He's done like a Mother's Day type performance and done a Hawaiian theme, the typical Las Vegas types of things. And
Christmas.
sometimes he brings a large band with him. And the one time he brought an impersonator that sounded like Cher. And evidently he's got Frank Sinatra up his sleeve too that I'm anxious to hear.
Well, he had this friend of his who performed for her very first performance as Olivia Newton-John.
Right.
And Cher. And I'm trying to remember all the people that he comes up with. It's kind of like having the Rat Pack with Elvis.
Yes. And, his one guitarist is just amazing. And he gets down there and does Johnny Be Good. It's just a joy to watch.
And isn't he from this area too?
The Twin Cities area with, growing up in London.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
So, and then we've had also Dorothy Doring here.
Yes.
And then we want to tell you about our MCs. We've had WCCO's John Lauritsen. We've had Tasha Radel, and she's with the Minnesota News Network. And they're both homies here from here, but they live in Minneapolis, St. Paul, because that's where they work. They've had their families from Minneapolis, St. Paul with them, and it's been really fun to have them come back and do what they call the quote unquote community service for us and help us with our the donations and the fundraising that we're doing. They've been so helpful. We've had Dave Lawrenson, who is John's son. John is Dave's son.
Right.
Dave is the father. And Dave used to be our librarian here in this town. He knows anything and everything about this town aside from Ruth Ann. If you can't get it from Dave, you walk into the theater and you'll find out from Ruth Ann Lee. Another fun thing about the two of us, when we travel, people say, "Are you sisters?" Because my name is Debra Lee and her name is Ruth Ann Lee. And so we just play along with it and we say, yes, we're sisters. And they just love that. So we have the best time. So we say we're sisters from another mother, although our mothers looked very similar. I was surprised when you showed me pictures of your mom, because I never had a chance to meet her, how much she looked like my mom. So for me, that was exciting to see. And Ruth Ann knew my mother, so
Special lady.
Thank you so much, and we miss her. So this will be our first year without my mom coming to the show. That's going to be tough. But we've had so many wonderful people that have performed here and that have helped us out with the fundraising. And we just want to talk to you a little bit about charitable giving, because charitable giving is what brings your community closer. We have, through our shows, we sell tickets to come in, but we also reduce the rate of our ticket if the person that's coming in, part of the audience, will give us a non-perishable food. It could be in a can or it could be in a box, and they bring that in, and they have a discounted rate on their ticket. And we have, as of 2018, we had collected over 2 tons worth of food. And I would say that at this point, how much do you think we're at? Do you have any idea?
No.
I think about 3 tons.
Yeah.
At this point.
COVID was
So,
tough
yeah.
to gather people together, but the giving goes on, and Montevideo has stepped forward, and Our Savior's Church was given a church, and that is being utilized as a transitional home for people that are in need of a home for the time being. There are people helping get furniture gathered for that project.
And the idea that we have a food shelf that will be able to help them with some supplies sometimes too. We have done a podcast in the past on the food, not the food shelf, I'm sorry, on the home that they were putting together. And that used to be in a beautiful church that I used to attend and had the opportunity to sing in, and also give some speeches or sermons, as you want to say, and gospel and that sort of thing. It was a beautiful church to have in this community for many, many years, and now it is no longer a church, but that's okay. Everybody has found their way to a different church, because I don't even know how many churches we have in this area. Do you know? Have any idea?
There are quite a few.
Quite a few. And we have a lot of good people on our board. Linda
Eslick.
Yes, she's on our board, and she's Ruth Ann's pastor, or was Ruth Ann's pastor at Watson Lutheran, but now she is at Emmanuel, is it?
Yes.
Yes, where is that church?
Just probably 5 miles from Watson.
Okay, but going back, is it out towards where your farmland has been, or?
It's more in between our place and Highway 29.
Okay. So that's my area that I like to travel. I'm always on Highway 29 in order to come down here. I like to say, though, that all roads lead to the Hollywood, so it doesn't matter where you're coming from. Is there anything else that with the charitable giving that you'd like to say?
We like to be a hub for people to bring their items in for United Way, the food shelf, any number of the different
Women's shelter.
Women's shelter. We have been blessed to be able to help them out with clothing and whatever their needs might happen to be. And usually I have a printed list of what people are looking for, so come and check it out.
We really work hard to try to satisfy the needs of the area. And then in my area, it's called Lake Area Region. So we have a lot of people that are coming in. We've had some other great bands, such as
57 Chevy played for us for one of our Christmas shows, and they were a lot of fun.
Yes, and this year, what we're going to be doing, I've been working with a company that will help us be able to live stream and fundraise at the same time that we will be putting on our show. So it'll be kind of like a telethon. And if we can get some other people involved, such as Pioneer Public Television, we're going to try. And then we can actually call it a telethon. So if not, we will just be live streaming the show. And that way, if we have bad weather, which has happened a couple of times, we've had bad weather, and it kind of curtails how many people show up. But our tried and true locals still keep coming. Thank God for them. So,
and we always have Dave Swenson here ringing that Salvation Army bell. And
yes.
He's been good to come down here just every year for our show.
And through that rain, sleet, snow, and blizzard, he has been with us. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to open this up to a forum right now, but I know that we're really not one. But if you have any questions, you can certainly email us and ask us for whatever questions you may have about what we're trying to do. And not only are we trying, I think we're succeeding at it at this point.
But we'd love to include more folks. If you have a desire to get up there on that stage and give us a few notes or or poetry or whatever you feel like sharing, we'd love to have you. Maybe you play a musical instrument. We've been blessed with violinists and ukulele playing people and
classical music.
Yes.
Try to think of all the people we've had here. I love that you brought up the martial arts. I think that was one of the highlights for me, to see all of these kids actually breaking wood, cutting wood in half, and all of the bricks. I think they had a brick too. It was just amazing. You're watching somebody that's in elementary school actually breaking through concrete. That is pretty amazing. And we've had wonderful entertainers. And like Ruth Ann said, if you yourself are interested in volunteering for our event or want to know more about our advisory board, please let us know. We'll be glad to help you. And as far as I'm concerned, I've said everything I want to say. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, thank you, Debra Lee, for being here, including the Hollywood in your show.
Love it. This is home base. This is our headquarters. This is where we have all of our office meetings, and we perform here. But we are available. Different performers actually go out on the road, and they'll be glad to come out and give you a song or a dance, or even speak on various ideas that have to do with positive thinking. So at this point, I guess I'm just going to say to you, God bless you, Ruth Ann. God bless you for all you do. May the McKnight Award come through your doorstep, because you are an angel and you deserve so much credit for everything you do.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I want to thank you for joining us. This has been Acts of Kindness. You can check us out at diversityusa.org or also queenofkindness.org. And, I forgot to put them out here, but I do have 2 compilation books that are out right now. One is with Jack Canfield. It's called The Keys to Authenticity. And that's a best-selling book on Amazon. And now our new book is Rise Up with Lisa Nichols, and that has become a bestseller. And the other thing that's happening by the end of the summer is my own memoir will be coming out, which is Walk by Faith. So thank you so much. Oh, thank you for being here, Ruth Ann. You're just a dream person, and to have you on the show, I am so honored. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Queen of Kindness.
She got the last word in. God bless. Bye-bye. We'll see you next time.